Hello, everyone. As you can tell, I'm not recording on my usual computer, so there's probably not going to be a lot of editing in this video. So you might want to throw this on more as a background podcast audio. There's not going to be much interesting to physically watch. We're going to be reviewing the Royal Rumble real quick. I thought this show, out of 10, was roughly an 8.4. I think this show and everything on it, in a little bubble, was good. Everything on this show was generally just good. The Women's Rumble was the highlight of the show by a wide margin. Like, Women's Rumble, right? U.S. title match, Men's Rumble, Roman match. It's roughly how I'd rank it, but we're going to go in order, starting with the Women's Rumble, which was, as I said, a really good match. We had Jade Cargill making her debut at number 28. We had Naomi coming back at number 2 very quickly and lasting over an hour, breaking the record set by Rhea Ripley, and then that got broken by the eventual winner, Bayley, who I predicted correctly, so 1-0 up to this point. And then this match, there were a couple little cool spots. There was one, I believe, where somebody, I believe it was Bayley, had Naomi, she was carrying her, and somebody was dazed on the outside. She swung Naomi through the middle rope, knocked that person off, and then threw Naomi over. Fun, entertaining spots, yippee-ki-yay. The final four, if I remember correctly, was Bayley, Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill, and Tiffany Stratton, but she wasn't really in there for that long. There's a really good spot with Tiffany and Bianca where Bianca was falling off, but Tiffany was behind her and was like holding onto her hair as like a rope to try and like stay on. But then Jade, I believe, knocked them both off. But Bianca's feet hit first, so technically Tiffany was in the final four. It was really a final three in this one, and it was a pretty solid one. It ended very similarly to last year's Rumble, where two of them were fighting on the ringside apron. The other one comes over. One of the people on the apron eliminates the other person on the apron. The other person eliminates the person who just eliminated the other person. That person wins. It was a really fun Rumble. This match specifically is like a 9.3, no, 9.6 out of 10. Sorry if I sound a little sick, by the way. I am. I haven't been feeling great on this trip I've been on. But a very good match. The right winner, Bayley, definitely should have won. And the storyline should be Bayley versus Io at Mania, Rhea versus Becky. Becky, I guess? I don't know. And then Jade and Bianca at Mania. I don't want Jade versus Bianca because Bianca needs to keep her undefeated streak, but Jade also needs to win. Whatever. Nonetheless, on to the next match, which was the Roman match, which is a little weird to be in the second match on the show. Bit of a death slot here. But I guess they put the most boring match in the death slot, which fits perfectly. This match, I actually didn't watch most of it because I knew it was going to be bad and I had to do something for the first half of it. But from what I did see, it was just another Roman match. Roman did get hit with every finisher, which was pretty funny because he won. Roman won? He retained his title? What? This is mind-blowing booking. But he got hit with a BFT, was dead for like 2 minutes. Got up, got hit with a Styles Clash, was dead for like 5 minutes. Got hit with an RKO, was dead for like 7 minutes. Then he finally got up. I'm exaggerating the numbers, by the way. Then there was a triple stack with everybody except Styles. Styles went for the pin, everybody kicked out. The surprise of this match, and really the only predictable thing about it, or unpredictable, I should say, was who was getting pinned. Like, going in, everyone's like, oh, LA Knight's only there to take the pin. But generally, I've noticed now that while back in, 2018, 19, yeah, Vince McMahon would have booked it like that because he doesn't care about what the dirt sheets say. He cares about booking, get big guys over, get small guys smaller. But I think Triple H has actually looked at the dirt sheets and been like, nah, we're not gonna make him take the pinfall. And AJ took it. So it, I guess, made everybody look good because Styles had a really dominant part of the match, at least from what I saw. Beat everybody up with a chair for a while. And as I said, did the triple stack. But the ending was pretty good. I actually liked that. So let me put you in the moment here. So you got Roman here. You got LA here. LA's dazed. And you got Styles on the ringside apron ready to phenomenal forearm. So Roman runs at LA. Superman punch. LA falls backwards. Styles has just jumped up onto the top rope. LA hits the rope, makes Styles fall on his neck. Styles rolls into the ring. He's like, stands up, gets speared. 1, 2, 3. Roman retains, which is actually a pretty inventive way of having Roman retain. You know, I laugh when I see them give us hope that Roman's losing this close to Mania. Like last year when he fought Kevin, I was like, oh, Kevin, all right, yeah, he'll clearly win the title. Why not? No, it's just N-O. I guess N-O in the way you're looking at this. But it was pretty predictable. Again, the only non-predictable thing was who's gonna get pinned. But it was Styles. This match was all right. I'll give it, just for the ending spot alone, a 7.2 or so out of 10. Next up was the U.S. title match, which I think was a little bit better. Wasn't great, but it was solid. It would have been closer to the Women's Rumble. Like, instead of being here to the Women's, it might have been like here. But the ending, a DQ ending in really any match generally, lowers it a couple notches. And the same thing here. This was good action throughout. They were beating each other up quite soundly, and Logan was really loud with his selling. He would get hit with a punch right in the gut and he'd go, oh! Or, Kevin would, I don't know, throw him into the stairs and he'd just go, ah, stop! That's my favorite one of in the middle of the match. I think he gets thrown into the table and he kind of looks at Kevin and screams up to the sky, ah, stop! Logan is really goofy with his selling, but it's fun. And, Logan obviously retained, but it was by DQ because he got the brass knucks from Theory, who came in to deal with the security blocking his impulsive buddy. Gave him the brass knucks. Logan put him on. He was about to hit Kevin. Kevin dodged, hit him, took the brass knucks, then hit Logan, and then, he went for the cover. 1, 2, what's that in your hand? And then the referee was like, did you use brass knucks on him? Ring the bell. And everyone's like, oh, boo. How boring, ref. He's just doing his job, guys. But, again, Logan retained by DQ. I'm going to give this match a solid 7.8. I think it could have been, 8.2, 8.3. Again, the DQ really does lower it for me. But it is a good way to do that kind of match and that kind of booking. The way its ending was, my prediction earlier about how it wasn't going to be like a continuous feud is probably wrong. They're probably going to have a rematch at Chamber where Logan then gets a definitive win. But nonetheless, I am 3-0 up to this point. Unfortunately, I went 3-1. So let's get to that now. The Men's Rumble, which was probably the most predictable match on the show. Even more than the Roman match. Because the Roman match, you're like, okay, clearly Roman is winning the match, right? So let me just draw a graph here. It's a piece of paper. Paw Patrol paper, why not? Alliteration, am I right? So let's use this little chunk here, right? And if I am using this chunk of the paper, and the more that it goes up is how predictable it is, right? Roman's winning. Already, it's this predictable. Already. But then who's it going to be? Now, it's most likely LA going into the match, but, could throw a swerve in there. It's definitely not going to be Randy, Could be AJ though. So then it simmers down and it goes to about there, right? And then, what's the different color? Red, perfect. And then with the Rumble, it's like, clearly there's one of two people winning this match. Clearly, there's one of two people. So it's going to be them in the final two. So the middle part of the match, we know what's going to happen. So, because with the Roman match, there comes a point where you know the ending is coming. You know what I mean? Like, in every match, really, there's a point where you're like, okay, clearly the ending is getting set up. Like, they're brawling, they're fighting. One of them, throws the other into a corner, drop kick. They look around at the crowd, they do a taunt, top rope, frog splash. Pow! They get him up, finisher, boom, match is over. Generally, it's that, where a wrestler will look around, do a taunt, and the match is, like, getting to the point where it should be finishing. Like, if it's the match on the middle of a SmackDown and it's gone 6 minutes already, it's ending soon. It's just how booking works. So we can draw kind of a little, like, shaky line up to the same point as the Roman match, right? Little shaky line. And then it's like Cody, Punk. You have one of two options here. Nobody's going to accept any other option. For reference, by the way, it was Drew, Gunther, Punk, and Cody. Sami Zayn was there at the end. He came back. And so did Andrade. Forgot to mention that Andrade debuted again. And then, Pat McAfee came in. He was in for 28 seconds, then eliminated himself. Omos, unfortunately, didn't win. He should have won. I don't know why I didn't predict him. Maybe if I did, he would have won. Oh, well. Nonetheless, I think, personally, that from there, it just flatlines how predictable this match could be. I think that's the predictability of this match. Because you have two amazing storylines that you can choose. Which do I want to do? Do I want Cody Rhodes winning the Rumble again to really try and finish that story for his dad? For life. Or do I want CM Punk making his return to WWE and getting a shot to main event WrestleMania against Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship? And there's no predictability of that. I think once it got to that part of the match where it was just them left, then it became predictable. Because there's a point at the end, and this is right when Punk gets eliminated. Cody wins, if you didn't know. Where he's like, I didn't come back just to lose to Dusty's kid. And then the moment I heard that, I'm like, and Punk's losing. Like, if a heel is taunting the family of a babyface in the Rumble, the heel is losing the match. Booking for children. I should make a book just called Wrestling Booking for Dummies. Here. You see, when a heel makes fun of a babyface, specifically their family, generally that heel will lose the majority of the matches between the two. That's called booking, folks. Nonetheless, it was really a toss-up. You could say that, they were talking about, nobody's done back-to-back since Stone Cold, dude. And that's kind of, you can take that either way. You can take it as, oh yeah, they're just going to make him do it, make him become the first in Stone Cold. Or you can take it as, oh, the pain of him not doing that back-to-back. Oh, how unfortunate. But nonetheless, this Rumble was boring and very predictable, I should say, until the final 6, 5, maybe. So I'm going to give this one a 7.7-ish. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible, but it was a good match. If you look at the matches, respectively, if you showed the match to somebody who knew what pro wrestling was and has seen it before, but had no clue what the story was, they did not know anything about anybody in the match. They only knew what the commentators said. they would have a good time watching this match. Most likely. Because, you could tell them, like, oh, Andrade, he hasn't been in the company for years. Oh, cool. And you can show them stuff like that. This match is perfectly enjoyable if you don't know the story, which is the entire idea of the bloodline, by the way. I should make that. I should make a video on that. Hey, Siri, remind me to do that. But nonetheless, overall, I think this was a very good pay-per-view and a pretty solid way to start off the year. With only 4 matches, it showed out. I'm going to give this a final grade of a B+, give or take. And if I was presented this as another pay-per-view in 25, I'd be fine with it. As long as it's, different people and all. But we will see about that. My predictions for where everybody's going to go for after this, I tend to do these as well. So, for the Women's Rumble, we're going to look at the final 4 for each Rumble. And then the returning individuals. So, let's see. Tiffany Stratton, I think she'll stay in NXT for a little bit longer. Maybe finish up that storyline with Fallon Henley. Then make her way up to the main roster. WrestleMania? No, maybe a little later than WrestleMania. Backlash-ish. Jade, I think, will start really strong. She'll probably go undefeated on TV until Chamber, where she might take a loss, but I think they're going to give her a win on Chamber and then have her lose at Mania to Bianca. Liv, I think, well, she's returning, so I don't really know what to say about Liv. Smoke weed every day. That's all I'm going to say. And then Bayley, I think, will challenge Io Sky at WrestleMania after they break up somewhere around Chamber for the women's title. Next up, I think that Roman Reigns will retain until Mania, where he loses to Cody Rhodes. Hint, hint for what I'm going to say for the Men's Rumble. I think that LA Knight will meander in the mid-card till he beats Logan Paul for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. As I've said, everybody should be losing at Mania. What else? Who is in there? Randy Orton, I think, will, as Jay White is in AEW, I think he will lurk around the main event. He won't be like a major title contender, but he'll always be kind of like present, like mingling with the people who are in the main event scene. And then AJ, I think, will be similar, but I think he'll kind of meander a little. If they've got ranges, like if you got main event, ME, MC, mid card, and then LC, which is lower card. Like Randy is gonna be like this chunk right here, and then AJ will be like this chunk. He'll take up more. I think LA, he'll probably stay like there. So that's where I think everybody will go. Logan will probably have a U.S. title match against someone like Waller at Chamber. He'll win. Sorry, Waller will lose. Get a bunch of crowd heat from that because they're in Australia, or as they say it, Straya. Kevin Owens will again meander around the mid card, doing really nothing. Potentially still feuding with Logan Paul. Probably have a big SmackDown match on a go-away show before Chamber or so, maybe. What was next? Men's Rumble, right. And Naomi from earlier. She's probably going to do something cool on Raw this week, cut a promo, she'll get interrupted, and then that's going to be her feud. Same for Andrade. And then men's Final Four, let's see. Drew, I think, will just get angrier and angrier. He'll probably start losing a couple more matches than he has been recently. And then he'll actually get a storyline. I think Gunther will keep the IC title, preferably till Mania. Again, Gunther should lose there. Don't really know to who yet. Let's see. Who else? Punk, right. I already said Cody beat Roman at Mania. And Punk will challenge Seth Rollins and beat him at WrestleMania Night 1, Cody at Night 2. Thank you for watching. Have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk. Leave your thoughts down below, and goodbye.